There we go. Now I'm recording. So Super Weekend, April 12th to the 14th. Go to your Coach Online office, click on events, and then you can check that out. And just for a quick review for everybody who just now popped on, and also because I forgot to push the recording 2 minutes ago, cruise next week. However, there will be a guest speaker on our call next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Central. I know that it's late. We really try to keep these calls to 20 minutes for you guys, which, by the way, many apologies for we have to prepare our guest speakers that we typically have a short meeting. So last week was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was so good. If you haven't watched the recording about Teamsy training, if you're not yet convinced, y'all just go do it, because I did like the 30-day trial. And then I let it lapse, and I was like, I don't have time to look at this right now, because I had like uploaded all my people. I started to do it. And then 2 months later, I came back to it, and I thought I was going to have to start from scratch, and I didn't. All my people were still in there. I started right where I left off. I was able to pick up right where I was. So I encourage you to do that. I really think that it is a great, great deal. And for $30 a month, or $29 a month, I mean, it's really, really such a good deal. If you don't have a follow-up system that's working for you right now, and or if you're always saying to yourself, I keep running out of people to talk to, please do Teamsy, all right? Because I think that'll change your mind on that. So next big announcement. So yes, next week, I'm not going to be here. Heather Sly is going to be talking to you about taxes, the good, the bad, the do's, the don'ts. She's one of my Success Club team, or my Success team members. We've got like 5 of us, and I'm so excited that she's going to do this call for us, because there's so much that you could probably write off that you don't even realize. And then there's so many like little teeny tiny problems that you might be causing for yourself in the long run if you don't start to prepare now. Okay, so please make sure that you check that out. You can always watch the recording. 2 more quick announcements. If you are local to me and you want to come see the Chalene Show on April 18th, just shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger. Let me know that you want to come. You can be my guest to be a part of that. It's going to be in Beverly Hills. It's a Thursday, April 18th. If you need any details, don't ask me for the details, please. Just go to the link, ChaleneShowLive.com, and you can find out the details for that. And I think she's doing a book launch too. So it's going to be super fun, but you can be my guest. Okay. And at no charge to you. So if you're local, if you're willing to travel and you want to do something like that, then come hang out. Next announcement is Summit is coming up, of course. I'm actually buying my airplane tickets tomorrow. I meant to do it today, but then my kids woke up. So you know how that goes. Definitely make sure, if you haven't gotten your flights yet, don't let that be a deterrent for you later. If you haven't gotten your hotel yet, or your Airbnb, whatever, please don't let that be a deterrent. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. I really want to make sure that you're there at Summit. It's such a great experience. If you haven't yet heard, if you're going to be there like in the morning on Thursday, Josh Coates, he works specifically with Beachbody coaches, helps them to stay accountable, etc. And he's doing an event on that Thursday from 9 to 1. So if you're going to be there already, I think the cheapest tickets are $46. Just do it. Like, do that. It's a really good event. Melissa McAllister, she's also in our downline. She's going to be one of the speakers there. And I didn't look at the rest of the lineup. I was like, oh, there's Melissa. So that's all that I noticed. Okay. All right. So there are, oh, good. Signed up for that on Thursday evening. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's got like a couple different things going on too. Anyways, he has a couple different things. There's like a VIP thing, and then like a whole conference, pre-conference thing. Anyways, but I know like the Power by Am event thingy, I think it's just 9 to 1. But anyways, you guys can send me details if you know something different, because I got a couple confusing emails. I was like, wait, what? Anyways, I didn't take the time to investigate too much, but you can always look it up. All right, y'all. Tonight we're going to talk about something that is so like near and dear to me, because if you are a person like me, which probably you are a little bit like me, is you love trying to figure out how you can get better at this topic. And the topic is time management. Like, how can I get better at managing my time? And some people, we've totally changed the whole idea of time management these days, because like everybody has the same amount of time, right? So it's not really more about management as it is prioritization, right? So the very first step in really truly figuring this out, because there's so many different ways that we could go with this. I started going off on like this tangents of in many, many different directions, but I want to keep it concise for you guys. The very first, most important thing you have to figure out is what your actual priorities are right now in this stage of life. Okay. So when I began this business, my number one priority for me at that moment was to get out of debt and get this business off the ground. Like that shifted. That was like a number one for me. Boom. Because without making that a priority, nothing else in my life was going to be fixed. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down, without thinking too hard of it, what are your top 3 priorities in your life to you right now? What's the most important things in your life right now? Now, it can be, these are more like concepts, right? So mine, God, family, freedom. Like freedom is more of a concept, like a freedom from health issues, a freedom from anxiety, a freedom from stress, freedom from financial burden, all that stuff, right? So it really goes in like, it's like big picture, right? Next step is like, who do you want to be? Like actually, who do you want to be? So I'm reading Brendon Burchard's book, High Performance Habits, which I highly recommend it. It's really great. And he talks about this a lot. I'm like, okay, like who do you want to be? Like on a daily basis, what do you want to embody? Like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to come across? What do you want to project to the other people in your life? I want you to write down 3 words. Again, you can't think too hard about it. It's just, what do you want to embody? What do you want to feel? Who do you want to be to those around you? 3 words. Yes, you can change your words later. Okay. But I think that this exercise, actually, I know that this exercise is important, because if you have an imbalance of the priorities and who you want to be, then you're going to find yourself imbalanced, basically. Like I said, I made this business my number one priority, and to a fault in some ways. I burnt a lot of bridges. I hurt a lot of friendships. My relationship with God didn't do that great, but I became so obsessed in the beginning with making this. This was like this is what I obsessed about, because I wanted this to fix all my problems, which it did, but I also could have done this better had I truly been mentored and taught, like, hey, you can still be who you want to be and keep your, all the other parts of you, but you need to consider that on the path, on the journey. And you need to remember that who you want to be is, like my words now, at least they're now, I want to be loving, I want to be energetic, and I want to be influential. I want to be able to help people make a change in their life. And I think I've always wanted those things, but I didn't have that clarity back then when I was setting these goals. Like it was all about, financial goals. And I mean, yes, it got me to great places. However, I think I know, hindsight's always 20/20, but this is how we grow, right? We grow by messing up. We grow by making things messy. We grow by just doing something. And, but I want to help you through this process, because I want you to feel on the journey with, for instance, doing this business, or on your health journey, if you're, whatever your number one priority is right now, when that is your priority. And when you're on that journey, I want you to feel peace and ease, and like, this is the right path. Where oftentimes I was having a trouble, because I was like, well, this is who I am, but this is who I'm told I should be. And this is who I am though. And this is so I had that like inward struggle. I want you to know who you are. And I want you to know, like 1000%, that you can bring that into whatever your goal, your priority is. It might not always be the right answer for you to be going head first 1,000 miles an hour. But then again, I also think that it's an excuse if you say my family is my number one priority, so therefore I can't work this business, but I can barely feed them. That doesn't make sense either. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's when you sacrifice other things. You're still there for them, but you sacrifice other things in order to make sure that you get this business off the ground so that you can provide for them better. So, quality time, that's my love language. I believe that that is, so important. And I think that, well, I know that that's why I felt out of sorts with my life for many, many years, because I was like, well, quality time is my number one, but I spend, 60 hours a week working and just an hour or two a day with my loved ones. Like, it didn't make sense. That's why I knew that something like this would help me feel fulfilled, because I just always craved that quality time aspect. So that's number one, is you got to figure out your priorities and then figure out who you want to be in that. Right? So priorities right now, there's the grand priorities. You got the, God, family, freedom. Those are mine for sure. But then within that, I want you to go, okay, within that though, knowing who I am and who I want to be and what I want to embody to those around me. What are my goals right now? Because everything that I say yes to, I'm saying no to something else, okay? I want to know that every goal I say yes to is in line with who I want to be, what I want to embody, and also my life priorities. And I encourage you guys to do that too, because somebody invites you out for coffee on a super busy week and you haven't hit your Success Club points yet, and your kid has a recital and all this other things. Yeah, you might want to say yes, but is it truly in line with what you want right now? I can't say this enough, because so many people we just say yes, right? We're people pleasers. We always want to be the one to step up. We want to be the one that's recognized for working hard. And I want you to have freedom in stopping before making any commitment, even to a training. I think I said that on my training a couple weeks ago. I was like, you don't have to follow this. If this is creating stress for you and you're already on a good path, don't take off. I don't want you to have shiny object syndrome. I want you to stay clear on the paths and clear on your goals, but without hiding behind excuses. Okay? So you're the only one that knows that. So from that, I want you to write down 3 things that you need to focus on right now in order to honor who you are, honor your life priorities, and get you to the next level in whatever that is. Maybe it's your health. It's just 3 goals. If you're drawing a blank, I'll help you out, because I know a lot of times when we're newer, we have a hard time with really, figuring that out. I want you to just go the easier route. Okay. Success Club, so make that one of your goals. That needs to be one of your goals, because everything else, as long as you're doing that, you will be building this business. Okay. So maybe that's one of your goals. Maybe another one of your goals is to figure out the social media platform that you want to learn, because that is going to take you to the next level in XYZ. And maybe another one of your goals is, I need to lose 35 pounds. So I can have that before and after, so I can have that credibility, so that I can be on the journey with it. Whatever it is, 3 goals. Now I want you to do, here's the hard part. So I did Shalene, She did an exercise with us many years ago. It was called 1 Minute Manager. And one of the things that she had everybody in the office do, and it was so eye-opening. And I was like, man, I think that everybody in life needs to do this on a regular basis. But basically, we created an Excel spreadsheet. And every time we switched tasks, we had to first go to the Excel spreadsheet and switch what we were doing. So say, for instance, I'm answering emails, phone call rings, I go to that Excel spreadsheet, I wrote phone call. So I pick up the phone, do my phone call, I do that, I hang it up, go to the Excel spreadsheet, back to email. So we literally wrote down every single time we changed a task, every single time we did something. And that was just during the office. And it was really interesting because at the end of it all, we categorized it. And we're like, okay, you spent this much time. I remember one of the employees, like, I'm not even kidding you, 25% of the time was like bathroom break. Really? Like a quarter of your day, bathroom break. Okay. But seriously though, it was really eye-opening. It's like, wow, I didn't realize that I spent that much time on the phone, or I didn't realize I spent that much time doing emails, or I didn't realize that I spent that much time doing social media or just out to lunch or whatever, right? My point is this. If, and I have a challenge for you too. If you did this exercise to your life on a daily basis, it's going to be very telling of a couple of things, because how we spend our time shows us truly what we value. So if we say that we really value, our family, and yet whenever there's family time, you're technically on the phone working, you're working on your phone and you're pretending to pay attention to them. No, you're not. So you need, like, I think that this is such a great exercise. And if you're like, I truly do want to know how I'm spending my time, I encourage you, just every time you switch a task, just note the time and then that you switch the task and write it down. And then at the end of a day, you can go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I spent that much time like cleaning the dishes. I have this, I personally had a hard time when we first moved in. Every time I walked by the kitchen, I was like, oh, a dish. And I put it away. Oh, a dish. And I put it away. And I finally was like, this is ridiculous. I can't like clean a dish like every hour. This is stupid. Just do it all at the end of the day. Because every time, I don't know if you know this or not, but every time you take and change your focus from one thing to the next, if you calculated all that time, science and research has been done. I think every year we waste like 18. Oh man, it was astronomical. It's a lot. It was like, I wish I had the stat. I used to know this by heart. I'm sorry. Mom brain, total mom moment. But it was astronomical. It was something like the end of every week, you ended up wasting like 5 hours of your time or something. And all that you did was go, oh, wait, what was I doing? And then it takes you that long to get back into the groove again. And so like you spend so much time just trying to get refocused. It's like if you just had a list, work from a list, and then you just went from there, you'd be so much better. So that's my one challenge for you, is to do like a time audit, is to figure out, okay, how I'm spending my time, is that truly like lining up with what I say my priorities are? Okay, so that's number one. Now here's another challenge for you. And since taxes are coming up, this should be relatively easy. How do you spend your money? Because a lot of people tell you that Shakeologies are too expensive, and yet they're having, fast food every single day at like $10, $12 for their meal. So what do you value? What do you see value in? What does that line up with your priorities? And you can't tell me that your number one priority is saving money if you're going out to the bar every Friday night, right? It doesn't line up. It doesn't line up. You got to know, like, okay, and this is totally how I am. Like I don't shop. I love to spend money on quality time things, going out to eat, going on vacations. That's pretty much it. And then of course a ton on like personal development, because I see tons and tons and tons of value in those things. Do I need another pair of jeans? Not until my old ones rip. Like I really could I don't give a care too much about how I dress. I look nice. I look presentable. I feel confident. That's important. However, it's not a super high priority. It's not high value for me. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you any fashion designer of anything. Promise. So those are my values. And so yes, if you were to do an audit of my money, you'd see that's where I spend a lot of my money, is on vacations and like, doing things with people. Where you spend your time and your money are a lot of times are going to let you know, like, how they're going to let you know what you're truly aligned with. And if you're like, that is out of joint, like that is not how I want to be, that's not who I want to be, then you got to start to make some changes. And there we go. And then we come in with time management. I don't want to go too long. All right, cool. We'll wrap up here. Time management. I've got 4 tips for you. Okay. 4 tips for you with time management. Number 1, never, ever, ever fly willy-nilly. Okay. Never fly willy-nilly. You must be scheduled. You've got to be scheduled and then scheduled and then scheduled again. So it's not just like you schedule your Beachbody time. It's like you schedule your Beachbody time, but then you have this block of time for, commenting, likes, and posts, this block of time for invites, this block of time for follow-ups, this block of time for personal development. You have blocks of time, but not like so tight that it doesn't allow for stuff to hit the fan. Okay. Or for a longer conversation, right? You need to be focused with your time. It's like the whole idea around a power hour. You need to be scheduled and calendar everything. So make sure, I always talk about the events that we have coming up because they're really freaking important. They're really important that you're at these events. And I want you to be successful. And I know the value of attending events. So, I make sure that you calendar events. Make sure that you calendar your calls. Make sure that if you tell somebody, oh yeah, I'll give you a call tomorrow, you actually put it on your calendar. You have reminders that go off, because I'll tell you what, guys, the first time you forget to call somebody, you lose trust with that person. It takes so long to build trust, and it's so fast to lose it. So we need to be careful. We are in an integrity business. We need to be really, really, really careful about what we're saying to people and making sure that we put things on our calendar. That's number 1. Number 2, I want you to look for multitasking opportunities. Now, I do not believe that multitasking, or a lot of people say that multitasking is a myth, and that is true to the most degree. Okay. Here is where it is not a myth. When your hands are busy, but your brain is free. Driving, exercising a lot of times, right? So like if you're, like walking, biking, doing something that doesn't require you to hear or to speak to anybody, those are opportunities. Doing dishes, cleaning house, those are opportunities when you could be listening to personal development. You could be making phone calls. You could be, catching up on trainings that you haven't yet, gone through. You need to find opportunities where when you're answering emails. I used to do emails all the time when I was before I was taking cycling classes. I would just do stationary bikes. And that's when I would catch up on my emails, and I would do my Facebook posts and all that stuff. And I do my social media. But when I was breastfeeding, that's when I did all my coaching calls. Nobody could see me. It was fine, because it was like, well, I'm stuck here for probably an hour, so I'll just schedule a call. And so, that you can find time. So I want you to get creative. Look for opportunities where you can be multitasking. Now, yes, it's more fun to listen to music when you're exercising. I know that. However, what are your priorities? You're going to make time for the things that are important for you. And it might not be as fun listening to a podcast instead of listening to some, rap music, but you know what? It still gets the job done, and you move yourself forward. Okay? Move yourself forward. Here's another example that I have. Every morning, my kids get up really early. And so that's when I do my Bible study, is when they're having breakfast. They're having breakfast, they're watching TV, Bible study, personal development. So I'm reading like this really great children's book right now. Not a children's book, but mind development book for kids. And then right into my Brendon Burchard book, My High Performance Habits. Boom, boom, boom. It's about 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, depends on how good they are, depends on how early they wake up. But that really sets the tone for the day for me. And that's one of the habits that I created. Yes, they're a little bit distracting. However, I don't need to be watching cartoons. I'm perfectly fine to sit there and read while they're doing their thing. All right. Number 3, I don't want you to run towards something until you've really measured it against your priorities. So an awesome training comes your way, measure it against your priorities. reverse engineer something. If you're like, I know what I need to do. I need to create my own Facebook page for my team. I need to create my own video series. I need to create my own training. Yes, you probably do, but probably not until you're like a 2-star, okay? But if something's on you that's like, no, I have to create this so it's 100%, 1000% on me, great. Whatever it is, reverse engineer it first. Reverse engineer it first. What do I mean by that? I want you to sit down. I want you to brain dump on a piece of paper everything that would take and mean before you commit to it, before you say yes to it. Become the PTA mom? Great. Reverse engineer it. Teach free classes at the Y? Reverse engineer it. I want you to know what the things that you're going to say no to in order to say yes to that. And of course, that's after you measure it against your priorities and who you want to be right now in your life. And those might change. Those might change. All right. Sorry. It keeps popping up with little notifications. The last tip that I have for you is to be aware of what makes you feel frazzled, stressed, or scattered. So I went through this a long time ago. I think it was Marketing Impact Academy, or maybe it was Smart Success that I did one of Shalene's online courses, Smart Success, I think. And we created like actual policies, life policies. And one of my life policies is to not be traveling or have like a weekend commitment more than once in a month, like a full weekend commitment more than once in a month, because that makes me feel frazzled. That makes me feel stressed. I don't like to have more than 2 appointments in a week, like in my afternoon schedule. I don't like to have more than 2 because that really cuts into my family time. I will not do anything personal, like go to a doctor or something like that when my kids are in school, because I'm paying for them to be in school so that I can work my business. So you need to know, like, what are the things that make you feel frazzled? And those are the things you need to create a policy against those things and say, I will not commit to more than 1 volunteer thing every 6 months. I will not say yes to an opportunity until I've had time to brain dump what that opportunity would mean for me. I will not, or I'm going to take my girls' night from every week to every other week so that I can do that the other times as a date night with hubby, whatever. You need to create your life priorities. You need to just be aware, like, what makes you feel stressed? What makes you feel anxiety? What makes you feel, and like for me, a lot of it came down to like poor planning, because I just kept like loading up my calendar, loading up my schedule. I am naturally like, I really need to decompress after being around a lot of people. I have to like kind of be alone for a while and just kind of release that, like Summit for me is, I like go to my room and then I'm like twitching. I'm just like so much energy. I feel like I take on everybody's energy or something. So I have to have decompressed time. So you got to know, and then you have to be aware, because you are the only person that's in charge of how you feel, and how you feel is going to determine how you treat other people. It's like all intertwined, right? It's all intertwined. So this was like a very overview of time management, but I hope that it was helpful for you. I'm going to open it up in case anybody does have a question. I'd love to answer any question that you have. Guys, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you. 2 minutes passed, but that's okay. Thank you, you guys. I will I'll see some of you on the cruise, and if not, then we'll see you in a couple weeks. Be here next Thursday for Heather's talk about taxes. Super sexy topic, actually. You guys could save a lot of money, so make sure you jump on. All right. See you later.